Good evening, guys. It's me, Mr. B, Rebel, OMONDI Juma. Join us for the Monday edition of the Man United Agenda. Good evening, Rebel Meister. Good evening on Monday. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. B. Good evening, Rebel. Welcome back. Rebel's great to have you back on. You're wearing the green of Ireland, and I know you're a big American football fan as well. Is that the Jets I see you there with?
It surely is.
Your team?
That's my this is my NFL team, the New York Jets.
Okay.
They're not known for their the victorious rampaging, one Super Bowl in their entire history, but my aunt used to live in New York, and the Jets was a game that I was supposed to go with her husband to, so hence why the New York Jets. And also, Rebel is currently coming down with a cold, so that's why he's wrapped up to the nines.
Well, the Knicks aren't too successful either, are they, in New York? So not a great city for sports right now. But Manchester is, but not our end. Oh dear. All right, Mr. B, how you doing, bro? What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man.
Weekend, how's your Saturday?
Yeah. What Monday we lost, man. If you guys want to see, just join the just follow the Omenorians FC on Instagram, yeah, and you'll hear my weekly blog. We lost 3-2, but on Monday the team was so poor. The team was so poor.
Really?
I don't normally have a dig at the opposition, but I did in the vlog. They were poor, man, and I was fuming that we lost. But look, 3-2. We concentrate on the league now.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. How did you do? Don't tell me it was rained off.
Waterlogged. You know, Perryville. We were supposed to play on Perryville pitch, which is traditionally waterlogged. I went over there to walk the dogs the night before or the day before, and I could see swans on the lake, which was supposed to be the pitch, diving, you know, and swimming along on the pitch. It was so soggy and waterlogged. I knew it was cooled off, so I had a day off.
Fair enough. I know you don't play football, Rebel, so I'm not even going to ask you. But guys, look, let's get the show going. This is our topics for the day.
Woo!
Rebel, do we have a poll going at the moment?
We do indeed. We are currently asking our wonderful viewers in the chat, was Rashford right to respond to the United stand? And please do get involved in that. There's 7 votes currently. And there's how many in the chat?
6.
7.
Seven, yeah.
Yeah.
So repeat the poll again. So the poll was Rashford right to respond? Can we dig into that story? A bit of summary about what's this all about, so people know.
You want this one, Rebel?
Let's have a go at it. So, Marcus Rashford was hit out by a certain presenter on the United stand, Mr. Goldbridge. And Mr. Goldbridge has a long assorted past with Mr. Rashford in relation to what he does on the pitch. And essentially, he cast aspersions out of thin air, a bit like some of the takeover news, and made a statement. And Rashford, rightly or wrongly, has commented on the Twitter page of said United stand to keep their nose out of the business that they know nothing about.
So, what are you feeling on Monday? I know you're more likely to have gone with what Rashford did to be fair, to respond, but obviously we know that they are watching, or somebody's watching and getting back to him. But do you think a player of his stature should be stooping to the level? But
he's showing more fight with this accusation than he is apparently on the pitch right now. As you said, he needs to hold it down. We said this on the show last week. Hold it down, Rashford. Just be humble for a few weeks, until you get your form back. Then you can come out and start claiming, where there's wrongdoing and wagging your finger at people. At the moment, just hold it down. You had a night out last week, okay? And I think maybe you got punished for it. What he said officially on X, which is formerly Twitter, he said, please stop in capital letters, spreading malicious rumours. The incident over Rashford's birthday celebrations was not the first time he clashed with the manager, and last year was dropped for a match against Wolves after being late for a meeting, although on that occasion he came off the bench to score a winner. He didn't actually come on the pitch the other day, did he? The manager said, I spoke with him about it. It's unacceptable. He apologised, and that is it. For us, it's an internal matter. The striker had to apologise to Ten Hag after going to the party, but insisted it would be an internal matter, saying that Rashford was very motivated to put things right and totally with us. The club reported Rashford sustained a knock in training and missed the Carabao Cup defeat to Newcastle and the 1-0 win at Fulham. So United Stand, an official fan channel, which has over 2 million followers. Man, we're well far behind, aren't we? Come on, guys, follow us. 2 million followers took aim at Rashford, which presenter, who Rebel just mentioned, saying he does not buy that Rashford's absence was due to a knock, claiming it must have been a form of punishment, and going even further to criticise the striker's commitment to the club. So you can see why Rashford has reacted by saying, please stop spreading malicious rumours. He didn't play against Newcastle. The club come out and said he had a little bit of a knock, but behind that as well, it could be an issue. It's speculation that maybe he was punished for going out and raving again. Like, we're raving. Yeah. They don't go hacienda anymore. They go out to clubs, VIP sections, and drinking champagne, bling bling, and all that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's basically the story. I'd love to know what people think about this, especially you, Mr. B, because you got discipline. Where do you stand with this Rashford thing and him speaking out to social media?
If he plays and scores a goal in the next game, then it's all well and good. If he goes out and plays like he has been, then it's going to be brought up again. The only way to shut these people off is to do your job on a pitch on Monday. Whether you play with your head up and assist Hoyland, which means that you're getting props for doing something that they don't normally do, or you do actually find the back of the net with the 197 shots that you have actually had this season. So, you know, it's up to him. I mean, the fact that he bit, I was very, very surprised at. I am very, very shocked at. I thought he was above that. There's a lot worse things been said about Harry Maguire. And a lot worse things, I'm sure, been said about Marcus Rashford. So seems to have bitten on this one. I was really, really surprised.
Rebel?
I think for me, there's a few takeaways that I have from this. Rashford obviously knew that Ten Hag disciplining him for probably acting against Ten Hag's code was going to happen. And he's taken it like a man and kept his beak shut on that front. So that's fine. But what I thought was an interesting takeaway from this is Manchester United players, and therefore surely an analytics department in Manchester United Football Club, are watching these bigger fan channels to see what the pulse and the mood of the fan base is. We may think that our channels aren't being watched and that the stuff that happens and is brought up in them isn't taken notice of, but it clearly is, because Marcus Rashford has took time out of his day to sit down and write a tweet back to a show that usually gets its views on pin comments. So do that what you will.
How's the get the poll going, guys? I want to know what you feel about this. But let's go into detail. Michael Hill saying Rashford was given the United Stand a bit of airplay. Goldbridge saying uncertain future was his position in the team, not a transfer out. I would rather Rashford was making headlines for his goals. Big up Zoe Media House. She said, what did Rashford say? We just mentioned that. I'm sure everyone's getting on top of that now. Is Goldbridge, the Nottingham Forest fan, pretending to be a United fan? That's from Matthew Cathett. Vincent saying here, it shows that they're watching YouTube. They could be watching Man United Agenda. So be careful, guys, laughing out loud. If you are watching, come on our show and give us a like. Big G saying here, football players, it's simple, for fuck's sake. For F's sake, you know what I mean? It's criticism or praise. You don't conversate.
See, just swear.
Look, I'll just repeat what I'm reading out, what it says. Criticism or praise, don't converse with the media unless the club says otherwise. Good point. Vincent saying there's a beautiful image of Rashford. You got there, guys? He's done it. What did Goldbridge say? He suggested that he did not buy Rashford's absence was due to a knock, claiming it might have been a form of punishment, and going even further to say to criticise the striker's commitment to the club. That's what he said. UK Strange saying here, Zoe Rashford's commented on the United Stand post saying, please stop spreading malicious rumours. Matthew Bassett saying Rashford was aggressive towards the United Stand. Harness the anger and praise and do it on the pitch. There's Big G. Goldbridge and her 2 million followers are them that are empty between the ears. I stand with Rashford. That's on Zoe Media House. Rashford should have done it privately. No need for to comment publicly. That's from UK Strange. What was the semantics used by Rashford? Says Matthew. And another Brummy, Ed Mayhem, how you doing? Says, good evening, guys. I think Rashford has a right to defend himself, but at the same time should concentrate on getting himself back to the previous form rather than engaging in social media squabbles. Very well said. Box is in the house saying if Rashford scored goals like he writes tweets, he'd win Ballon d'Ors. P.S. Great to see you back, Rebel. Ed Mayhem. Yeah, take a bow. Sooner or later, a footballer will sue the crap out of you know who. And then we got, they're saying hello to each other. A couple more. United Stand's tweet was public. Rashford can respond publicly if he wants to, says MK. And I think they should do more of it. Ed, how you doing, Ed Barrett? Nice to see you. He said Rashford should communicate on the pitch. Plenty of entities have speculated about his future. Saragon, haven't seen you for a long time either. Welcome back. Rashi was right to respond. The thumbnail about his future, in doubt, was over the mark. And a couple more here. Vince saying, I've been talking to Paul. Okay, thanks. Yeah, we had Paul Murphy on last week. Hopefully he'll come back soon. Thanks for that, our agent Vincent. Michael saying, I'm sure I heard that McTominay was talking about Mr. B on the night out. Right. And Rashford is well within his rights to defend himself, says Matthew Bassett. So Mark Goldbridge, if you can't take it, don't dish it out. Second, setting trends is good for team morality. And Subvids, how you doing? Good evening. So how's the poll going? How do people really feel about this?
Let's take a look here now. So we have 14 votes in, and 57% of our viewership are saying that Marcus Rashford was correct to out the writer of the tweet.
I would bring that down because I'd say he was wrong to do that. He shouldn't have done anything. He should just leave it. Don't bite, as Mr. B says. You know, that's a wrong thing to do because he just aired him, especially with his form at the moment. He should just settle down and get on with his football. This is not what we want to be talking about. We're having headlines with Rashford in the papers for something when he's not playing well at the moment, to be honest. Hold it down, Rashi. We love you, bro. But just get back, put your head down, get back into form, and don't bite, especially with these big channels here, because you're just giving them clout. If you're going to bite, come and bite on our channel and give us a bit of clout.
I agree, man. I agree. Guys, Ten Hag, a lot of things have been kept quiet, and obviously it's Man United news, so it's Man United good news. Ten Hag, he's equal the landmark, but you're probably not going to hear too much about that. So we, as a channel, think we should give him a little bit of props. And one day, do you want to go through that for me, please?
Yes, most certainly. So Ten Hag equals landmark. This is the joint quickest it has taken any manager to rack up half a century of victories for the Reds. And Ten Hag's equaling a landmark which incredibly has stood for 118 years. Ernest McNow, who led the club to its first major trophy in winning the 1908 First Division title, also registered 50 wins in his first 79 games, crossing the milestone in 1905 when United beat Blackpool 1-0 at Bloomfield Road. Jose Mourinho came closest to matching Magnell before Eric, as the Portuguese took 81 games to make it 50, with the 2-0 victory over Benfica in the 2017-18 Champions League. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 95 games, Matt Busby, 96, Ron Atkinson, 97, all have remarkably similar records, but Alex Ferguson didn't pass the half century until his 105th fixture in a 3-0 beating of Millwall in 1989. So 50 wins in 79 games. Yeah, take a bow, Ten Hag.
Well, as I said, we say take a bow, Ten Hag, and he's getting absolutely crucified this season. Rebel, what was that poll that was up there now?
So we're after moving on to new poll, and I'm asking the viewers, Can Eric Ten Hag turn things around at Manchester United? Obviously, this is a prelude to what we'll be discussing shortly, but we'll come back to that after we discuss that.
Yeah, go on, I'm on there.
No, I want to hear what you say, because I think that's really good. I never realised it would be so good. I think with all the disappointment we've had in the last few weeks, especially at the start of the season, with 5 losses, no one would have expected this sort of record. All I've seen is a lot of stats about this is our worst start since 1931. This is we've lost 5. Blah, you know the negative stats. They're being bullet pointed all over the place. It brings some balance and brings some clarity about the actual real situation here. He's taken over a side that hasn't won anything for over 10 years. We were on the cusp of things, just couldn't sort of get over the line. Even getting Champions League qualification was being difficult over the last 10 years. Suddenly, he got us to 3rd place in his first season, won a trophy, and we were like, yeah, this is the man. And it's funny, after a few weeks into this season, even though he's had injuries, even though he's not been given a lot of money as maybe he should be given, and with all the takeover business as well affecting the club, we're still upset with the start. And I think we started poorly last season. Granted, there's only 2 losses against Brighton and then Brentford as well, but we turned it around. And I think we should give him the opportunity to turn it around as well, considering the great record that we're seeing here. One of the best managers all time to get 50 wins. And for that, you have to salute the man. It's a good start for a manager who I think long-term could be a good manager for us. And I think we need to stick with him.
Actually, speaking of managers, on this day, 1986, Manchester United Football Club appointed the great Sir Alex Ferguson, who achieved 895 wins, 38 trophies in 1,500 games, with 1,752 league points and 2,768 goals were scored. The greatest ever. And we must remember, his start didn't look too dissimilar to Ten Hag's, and Ten Hag has done a trophy quicker.
There you go. See? I said I'm not going to tell you that he's better than Alex. I'm not upset, Alex. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to be stupid enough to put that out there. But someone in the chat was saying about people talking about this being our worst start, and you said it as well on Monday. It might be a bad start for this specific season, but it hasn't been a terrible start. So I think, people probably need to. I still can't believe there's people who want him out. I'll be honest. I don't understand it. I don't understand where all of this is coming from. I said my key thing is injuries. If Liverpool have or Tottenham have their whole back 4 out and their holding midfielder, then there are going to be issues. Yes, we haven't been playing well, granted, but I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I'm expecting it to change in one day. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably why it hurts so much when we play like a bunch of twats half of the time. But no, I'm convinced 100% that as long as he gets the backing, which we'll go into in the next segment there, that I think he'll be absolutely fine.
Okay, can we just see what the comments are saying before we come onto this poll? I want to know if they agree with us, the panel. They didn't last time around. Big T saying here, so what's going on? How does the quickest to 50 also equal the worst start we've ever had? Absolute carnage. There you go. Can I just say, Big T's got a few comments. Let's see some consistency with the comments here, because it's going to be funny. Big UK Strange is saying here, he can turn it around, but it needs to happen fast. And we've got all related to this subject here. Big T's also saying, I also believe we're on the same amount of points at this stage as we were last season.
No, 2 points less.
Make out things are worse.
2 points less. Yeah, 2 points less we are. We're not the same. We're 2 points less. But what was the question? Did the media? Yeah, they are, because we're big news. They just, I think they wanted us to get Poch. I don't think they wanted Ten Hag. And I think they're just waiting for anything just to take the knives out in his back. That's what I think.
And I think, Mr. B, what you mentioned about the injuries is actually very poignant, because look at the injury list and look at the amount of time that certain players were unavailable to him. He lost his starting 2 centre-backs, that at least as he would have seen them at the start of the season, quite quickly. It's the second significant injury for Martinez, so there could be questions over whether or not that could be a running problem for him. So when you take that into account, where he had to get Maguire, Lindelof, Evans to reintegrate into being regular starting players, when you look at the fact that maybe Casemiro has followed Fabinho and slowed down all of a sudden, he may improve again, but he's had a lot of adversity to deal with this year. And that was before you had the MG circus and the Anthony circus on top of it.
Guys, is Rebel swinging your poll votes? Don't vote just yet. Let's hear each other out. So Big T saying, can Ten Hag turn things around with different players, perhaps? So he's not happy with the current squad. Big G saying, to be fair, it means nothing really. It means nothing really, does it? I know you're trying to put positives on the situation, but as I say, it means nothing.
Thanks, Big G.
Big up Big G. Ever saying here, there's absolutely no patience in football anymore. It's very sad. And Zoe Media House is saying, fans need to relax and not listen to fake news on social media. Matthew Bassett saying, who else comes in and gets better out of this squad with our group of players? Big T saying, presuming we will discuss Anthony at some point, Pellistri has to be a starter now, surely. There was no Bruno goal or 3 points without Pellistri's hard work. So we're going a bit off topic there, but big shout out to Chong as well for getting that goal. I'm sure we saw that. Ex-Man United, we like to see that doing well in the Premier League. Didn't Liverpool's season fall apart the other season when just Van Dijk was injured? We had the whole back four out with Casemiro as well, as Rebel and Mr. B was stating there as well. So some good points here, guys. But the poll is the timer for the poll is running out very soon. Big G's saying here, Bruno is still gash. I don't care if he scored the winner at the weekend. He's not. I was wondering when that would come up. I thought that was great finish as well. We got the 3 points. Yeah, there we go. So Saragon saying here, Zidane will never manage in England. One of the rumoured candidates. The pile has been over the top. And Mengi also involved centre back again for Luton against Liverpool. Put some respect on his name. He played pretty well too.
Well, look, Saragon. You're sorry, Rob, I'll let you go.
I just want to say, can we just applaud the ref's common sense in not booking Diaz when he got his equaliser and was speaking about his father and his T-shirt. You rarely see common sense being applied, but in that moment, I think you have to applaud the refs for kind of knowing when to keep the card in the pocket.
But what's the rule? I thought if you take his shirt off, he only lifted it to a certain...
Message on the shirt is also now a yellow card, technically speaking.
Oh, right, I see. Okay.
Well, touch wood, hopefully that sorts itself out. Saragon, Zidane will never manage in England. One of the rumours candidates. The pylon has been over the top. Now this kind of drifts us onto our third subject here.
What about the poll?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Rebel. Sorry.
I want to know who the poll. What come on. So, I predict. I'm not going to say nothing yet. Let's
No, we want to hear your prediction before you say it. You can't predict afterwards.
So the question for the poll was put out there about the 50 wins in 79 games. Is that good enough? That's what they're saying. Are they happy with that? I think they should be happy, even though we're going through a bad run of form. So I would say it's got to be a positive vote towards Ten Hag. That's my say.
So we asked them, can Ten Hag turn around the fortunes at Manchester United Football Club? And a resounding 83% of viewers said, yes, he can.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
That's all we need to hear. And see, with that kind of drifts us on now to the backing that he's going to get. Look, we've obviously given him 80%, 83% backing, but the most important part, but more important than our votes, is that Sir Jim is backing him. Now, obviously, I would love Ten Hag just to sign a new contract, just to do what the Forest manager did. Just when they thought they were digging him out and they were going to get him out of his job, he's coming there and he's had the power. Now, when I first heard that they wanted to take away powers from him, not powers, but maybe certain decisions from him, I thought that it would have been a disrespect, but the fact that maybe they're gonna work, because it sounds like what Sir Jim wants to do is have a framework around Ten Hag, so he doesn't have to go out and buy how much players have we bought, Rebel?
16, including loans.
Right, 16 including loans. Now we can count on maybe 3 fingers the good players that Ten Hag has come in, and they've come in and really done really, really well. So yeah, we probably do have an issue. So maybe his choice of play wasn't the best this time. Everything takes time, but you know, we've got a couple of players who we're thinking may well not make the grade at Man United, and they did cost a bloody fortune. So, do you feel that maybe with the right back in the Monday, do you think he's been doing too much and can't just concentrate on the football side of things?
I think in the old days, the manager would be involved in football side of things. I think the manager does need to have a say rather than players just being thrown at him, turn up at training. Oh, we bought this guy. But the manager needs to have a say in the signings. And he's had, as you know, his agent is relation or someone like that. And so he's had a link to getting access to players that he wants. But I think when it changes, once the takeover happens, it will be a case of there'll be someone in place to pick players, but he needs to have communication with them. As long as the communication channels are good and he'd be happy with players coming in and who he identifies, then that's fine. There's been a bit of criticism about the players coming in, hasn't there? Because we're talking about Ratcliffe here and what he's been saying. Ratcliffe has given the backing since there's been confirmed that he's sort of going to take a 25% stake of the club. Reportedly, 71-year-old Ratcliffe wants to address the huge fees United have spent on players like Anthony and Sancho. Now, they're both their key players, aren't they? 70, 80 million, whatever they are. It's understood he will spend 250 million improving the club's infrastructure. We heard that last week. That'll be the stadium and maybe the training ground, that kind of thing. So Ten Hag will be given funds to invest in January, with the Red Devils keen to strengthen their defence. So that's a good boost for the manager when someone's coming in and already backing him in November, even though we've had a poor start. But he does. But there is a but. The but, as you said there, Mr. B, is about two signings in particular that we've bought in Sancho and Anthony that are not really delivered. Sancho's not playing at the moment, so that's a complete waste of money. And then Anthony's not performing, and he didn't perform well against Fulham the other day. Rebel.
Yeah. Can I just say, talking about Sir Jim Ratcliffe, we don't know whether or not he's actually got his 25%. That is yet to be confirmed. But operating on the assumption that the article is correct, what he apparently seems to be targeting is that director of football role. And I think most of us would agree. Say, for argument's sake, I say I want Roy Keane to be signed for Manchester United Football Club. My moment at that stage then is done. I have given Mr. B, my director of football, the information. It is up to Mr. B then to get the best deal possible in terms of price and value and to know what the walkaway point is. And I think what this article is insinuating is that there's a lack of business acumen at that level, which is why we have overpaid for the likes of your Sanchos, the likes of your Anthonys, and for other players that we bought, that we had opportunities earlier to buy them for a fraction of that price. And therefore, we'd have been able to get multiple darts on the dartboard and wouldn't have been so put off when the darts miss.
And leave a prick.
And leave a which?
A prick. Yeah, good point. Good point. But who would have visioned that Sancho, for example, we were all excited when he came in. We saw the form at Dortmund. No one cared or knew about him being a bit slack and lazy at training. That didn't come into it for us. We were happy to pay the money because the previous season they would set a price 120 million, and that was to take him off Dortmund's hands. And we sat back and said, no, we're not ready for that yet. We got him for like 40 million less than that, I imagine, when we get him for 70 million or whatever. And he's coming to the side, and no one would have thought that he would be out on the side and not even playing at this stage, you know, where we've got Palestri and Garnacho, players that we paid peanuts for, playing ahead of him right now. So that's a disappointment. But the biggest one for me, I think Sancho, we never perceived that would happen. But Anthony, when you're paying 80 million for a guy like that, there is going to be pressure on his head already. But his performances right now, I just don't think he's given back. Whether it's, look, you can say, is he assisting? Is he scoring goals? He's not doing neither of those. But I can forgive that if he's playing well. And it's got to the point now where he gives the ball away, especially against Fulham the other day. He's giving the ball away stupidly. And the only thing people forgive him for, he works harder. He looks like he's getting a bit aggressive sometimes. But there's no end product at the moment. I think there's a player there, but for the amount of money you pay, we expect better. But granted, he's young. There's a ceiling there where he could improve, but maybe with all the allegations that he had to deal with as well, and a bit of pressure, maybe we just have to give him more time. But Ratcliffe is right. These are questionable decisions. especially if you're coming in and saying, who the hell paid for this guy for 70 million and we're not even seeing results? Simon Jordan was saying that. He's a great chairman, wasn't he? Or he's someone who can speak like that, and he talks really well. Simon Jordan was saying the same thing. He would say, come and say, what's going on here? We're paying this money for what? You know, we want to see something produced from this. And when you're paying money for players that are not even playing, and one's not even playing, and one's playing but not even getting results, then you have to question it. And I think that's fair.
Sorry, can I just ask, Simon Jordan, the same guy that made an absolute balls of his football club, is that the same Simon Jordan we're talking about here?
I listen to the man. He's very qualified at his job. He's right to ask the right questions, regardless. I know his maybe credentials might not be up there, but he knows what he's talking about. It's good to hear. Big up to Simon Jordan, by the way, because I think it's good to hear that perspective from someone who's been in a position like that. We rarely hear that. We hear ex-footballers, we hear pundits and that kind of thing, but we don't hear that sort of level of thing. Great chairman. Yeah, I think he was a great chairman because he achieved. If you look what he's done with his business career, mobile phones, then end up managing his boyhood club. Yeah, Mr. B, can't hear you.
Oh, rookie mistake. Sorry. Yeah, I wonder he might have been a good businessman. I'm not sure he was a good chairman, was he?
He talks a good game.
Yeah, well, the talk is cheap.
In hindsight, I think he talks a good game. But anyway, let's not make it about Simon Jordan. Saying great.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Get the heat off me, guys.
Yeah, Ten Hag. Look, I you know me already. I'm positive. I just want him to be able to clean out the garbage that he wants to clean out, and if it means that you know, it's the people beside him or above him or the people he's working with that do that, then fine. I mean, beginning of the season up until maybe 3-4 weeks ago, I wouldn't be having Rashford sold at Man United, but the more I see him play, the more I don't even care about the body language. The more that he doesn't see the passes that he should be seeing at 26 and being a full international, I'm wondering if it's ever going to change on Monday. You know, I've got players in my Saturday team who run with their head down, and I'm on at them, let alone, you know, falling. Forget about what he's earning. I'm not interested in what he's earning. It's the experience that he should have and the things that he should maybe be working on in training. So if it means that he goes and Garnacho gets the game time, or we get somebody else in who can feed our striker, because I looked at a stat today, or I saw a stat today where Højlund was 100th in the Premiership for 100, you know, in the Premiership for chances created or chances something or other. It was like 1.7, and I thought, well, he's not getting fed. You know, you've got players in teams who are getting 6 and 7 chances. Nunes is getting 6 and 7 chances per game, and he's missing all of them. Yeah. That's fine. Do you think if Højlund gets 7 chances a game, he's going to be missing them? We don't. It's always been a graveyard role. So we spent this money on this player, and I just hope that, you know, you see his enthusiasm and his zest for playing, but that's gonna get sucked out of him sooner or later. If you just keep running and running and running for the sake of running and not getting the ball, it's gonna do you nothing. So I hope he gets back. I hope Ten Hag gets back to the summer and can find somebody that can do that. To be fair, I'm backing him. I'm with Sir Jim on this one. He's not here yet, but look, I think we have to accept that this is the situation that we've been in. We've done all of the protests. Not me personally, but I have not bought the shirts from the reputable places, and they're still here. So I think maybe we just have to accept that they're going to be here for another 3 or 4 years, and hopefully we're actually going to be alive enough to see. You know, the Monday, listen, man, you don't never know when you're going to be go, but that would be, you know, for us to be on the channel when they've, you know, everything's finally gone. You know, we thought it was going to be this summer. We had man talking about, you know, oil me up and blah 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 and this and that. And look, we've got the frack man, Ratcliffe doing his thing. You know what I mean? And that's our only hope. So rather than, you know, sit down there and be depressed, Rebel, I'm glad you're back. Rebel, because it made no sense you pissing off. But you know, you had your reasons. Everybody has their beliefs. You know what I mean? So I'm just hoping that Radcliffe backs his chat, backs our manager, and we can get to that extra 50 in super quick time again.
I'll be honest with you, Mr. B. If he's coming in and he's targeting that layer between Arnold and Ten Hag, and he overhauls that, then we are making positive steps towards fixing the football club.
Just quickly, while we're on the topic, let's go through the comments quickly. A new CEO, Director of Football, Technical Director, Recruitment Team, Scouts Needed. That's from Matthew Bassett. Gets the thumbs up from Rebel. Big T saying, if the manager says, get me that player at all costs, should be honoured. If you make the manager about the football, he needs them players. Big T. Bailey saying, back our manager, Arteta, 8th twice. We will get top 4, I believe. Just wait until we get Shaw, Martez back. We need a settled defence. Look at difference that Wan-Bissaka made as well. That's from Bailey. To be fair to Sancho, no matter the fee, he came into the worst season he could. Had no chance. That's Emma K. Don't look at players Eric's got. Look at the players he wanted. They're all doing well at their respective clubs. That's like Kim, I imagine. All right, I'll leave it there. We got a great topic coming up now, guys. And the poll is there for you guys again to let us know how you feel. What's next?
Rebel in the house. I know, Rebel, I know this is your baby. I know you've been losing your head over this. Guys, look, I don't want to be a bitch. But, you know, I'm seeing things about us losing, you know, us having 5 goals chalked off with. I mean, is it got to the stage where they should bin VAR? I mean, my son will say, no, they should make it all AI. And I was trying to explain to him that we can't have AI on a Saturday and a Sunday, and they want to try and make it, you know, as close to that as they can. So he was talking about, oh, you could get the phone and the VO and the stuff like that and all of this. So the fact that he knows all of this technical jargon, technical side of it really surprised me. But look, are the decisions now getting beyond a joke? You know, we all thought VAR was coming in to help the situation, and it's just made it a lot worse.
Exactly. And I think, interestingly, Mr. B, what you will find is that Gary Neville did a piece on Sky Sports recently where he put a ball down beyond the goal line in the dead ball zone, and he said he placed it strategically where part of the ball remains in play, therefore the ball is in play. And then Sky played with the cameras and showed all the different possible angles that VAR can consider. And there's an optical illusion where that ball looks like it's completely and utterly gone past the dead ball line and a goal kick was given. So the problem is there's no consistency as to which camera, in this instance, applies to determining if that ball is in or out of play. We had 2 major instances in the Arsenal game this weekend. There was a leg-breaking tackle from Kai Havertz where he should have walked. And there was one from, I can't remember who it was,
Bruno
Guimaraes, where there was a specific instruction was given to matchday referees that if there is a blow to the back of the head, as part of the concussion protocol which they have established, that player must see the line. Neither player got sent off. And I happened to be watching Tottenham versus Chelsea before we came on, and there was 2 more red card instances where they weren't applied. Another kind of dangerous 2-footed challenge, and actually this was worse than the Kai Havertz one, where again no yellow card was given. And then Romero, I'm going to ask you this, Monday, you're a centre back, you're after ending up on the ground, and you kick out at the player next to you in the opposition. Do you walk?
David Beckham. A la David Beckham.
Oh, it was like that, was it?
Yeah.
That was a bit of a shock to me that Beckham got sent off in '98. I didn't think he deserved to be sent off for that. But yeah, you got to follow the rules. And if the rules say that is the case, then go ahead. Rebel, you mentioned like games from today, from yesterday, and even from Saturday. There was some incidents. We're talking about VAR all the time, and there's no consistency. That's the main issue here.
Absolutely. And again, look at these offside decisions. Sometimes they're drawing from a hand, which last time I looked, I can't score with this unless the rules have changed. But even at that, right? You're in Old Trafford. The camera for VAR is positioned in a certain section in that stand, and it's looking at a particular angle then on the pitch. You could arrive down then to Tottenham Hotspur the following day, and it's not positioned at the same angle as it was in Old Trafford, and therefore it can give a different look as to the line across. Unless you're looking at an overhead shot, then you have no consistency as to what the view of that camera is looking at. They adopted a new rule in Europe where you had to be able to see it with the naked eye that there was an offside, and they've failed to apply it this season in the Premier League. I think the owners voted it down. It's likely to come in next year, but they have put a lot of extra admin. Look at the lines even on this picture Mr. B has given us. Imagine trying to decipher that and you're scrolling in to the 1000x degree in order to try and find that line. It doesn't make sense. There was 15 minutes of injury time in the game today due to VAR stoppages. 15 minutes.
Can I just ask, is this the goal that Tommy scored against Fulham?
This is, yeah.
Right. So where's McTominay? Is that number 35 him?
Yeah, he's 30. That's 39. But this is like first phase of play, isn't it? Because they're saying that Maguire was interfering with.
Oh,
the
of course. Yeah.
So
Maguire was offside here.
Yeah. So they've
called, and then he squared it for McTominay. Oh no, he didn't. McTominay came beyond him. It was Garnacho behind him, number 17, who squared it. Lovely squared ball for McTominay. So the first phase is Maguire offside. Judging by that, there's a hand. I think it's Paulinho. His hand is in level with Maguire's shoulder.
Yeah, and they were saying that, but basically they're saying that Maguire was interfering. If Maguire wasn't interfering with 21, then he would have been able to intercept the ball to Garnacho. I mean, come on, man. They're making up stuff now. You know what I mean? They're selling stories on us. So, look, it's hard. It's hard. I said it is more down to consistency, in my opinion, than anything else.
Mr. B, the worst one for me is Garnacho against Arsenal. That one hurt me when he went through and goal and scored.
It still hurts, isn't it?
Yeah, I look at that to this day and I think, nah, man, you can't get that offside. That's not offside. You know?
Can I say something to you about that game on Monday? You know, even in that game, if that result had gone our way, we would be level on points with Arsenal. Jeez. And our season's been absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
But I think, gentlemen, you have to ask yourselves, you brought in technology. Technology is supposed to make the process of making a proper decision simpler. You shouldn't be getting it right 5% of the time, 10% of the time, 15% of the time. And you shouldn't be making apologies and having to release audios time after time after time when the technology is supposed to make this streamlined and clear-cut. There's clearly an issue with VAR because every single weekend, multiple teams are saying, sorry, what? What's going on there?
Yeah, it's interesting what you said about the ball with Gary Neville. I need to watch that where you said Gary Neville placed the ball and then different cameras from different angles showed it could be out. It's crazy. It's like until this day, I mean, the 1966 World Cup final, Jeff Hurst, was it over the line or not? We've looked at that 1,000 times. You just don't know, do you? So I think sometime the Lampard incident, remember in the World Cup a couple of years ago, Lampard scored against Germany. The game they went on to lose, but it was clearly over the line. And I think Roy
miles over the line
as well. Those sort of things, that's easy to do because there's a monitor, there's a buzzer that goes in the referee's ear. But these offside decisions are the ones that sort of really catch us out. And I think it's taking too much time when they're lining things up. Like you said, if it's not consistent like that, then we need to change the rule or go back to something. The eyes. What's that point in having a lino, running up and down the line and doing his job? If he can't, between him, the referee, and maybe someone on the sides, they can't make a decision, and they're having to take it upstairs. And then we saw what happened. It was comical, wasn't it? Was it Liverpool where they missed out on a goal, and then the communication was like, "Are we giving it? All right, carry on. Take it back. It's offside." And that was to hear that. That was just like Laurel and Hardy stuff for me, and that just shows you the organisation is poor, and the whole point is to eliminate controversy and corruption, and I don't think that's been done. Or because now is even more suspicion and more conspiracy theories coming out about corruption in the game. Maybe it's easier to corrupt the game than just giving a ref a bung of money and sending him on his way.
I think, Monday, just to kind of finish up on the VAR point, when you're checking an offside, it should be as simple as establishing when, say, Mr. B connected with the ball to release you on your run. And at that point, you look, and with the naked eye, you should be able to see whether Mr. B was or was not ahead of play. It should be a quick, simple, easy check, and you keep the integrity of your offside then by doing that. They have overcomplicated the system, and I think what we found is there's a series of incompetence now within the VAR system, and there's a bit too much of, well, it could be the ref that's on the pitch today, it could be in the VAR booth for me tomorrow, so I need to make sure I cover his arse.
Can we go for some comments before we go to the poll results? Because I'm interested to hear that. Get rid of VAR now, says Bailey. Zoe saying here, AI will sooner or later come into the game. Emma saying there should be teams of refs where it's the same people working together all the time. Some only on the pitch and some only in the VAR room. Not whatever SHIT they're doing now. Bailey saying there's too many cooks. That spoils the brew. Big T saying here, does goal line technology only work inside the mouth of the goal? Can it not be expanded to the entire parameter?
Well, I was wondering that. Surely no.
There's a chip in the ball in Europe, and I think they have the parameters of the pitch marked. So the positioning of the ball is constantly known by a chip within the ball in Europe.
There's no consistency with refs. Send them back to referee school. That's from Emma. Emma Zoe saying here, why don't people call it what it is? And it's match fixing in the Premier League. IFAB and PGMOL controls VAR. Couple more here. Michael's saying here, does anyone think Casemiro, if he had done that tackle that Havertz did, he would have stayed on the pitch?
Not a prayer. No way.
Off.
That's conclusive. Big T saying here, is it me or do VAR try and find every possible reason to chalk off a goal rather than reward it? It should be a goal unless clearly obvious it ain't. If you're looking for 5 minutes, just give the goal for F's sake. I didn't say it properly there, did I? I said for F's sake. Big G saying here, when the lines are as tight as this, common sense should prevail in this sense in fair of the attacking team. And our refs should take learn from rugby league. That was suggested the other day. Ignore what Gary Neville says. He says Maguire would have been good playing with him, Rio and Evra as well. And funny how corruption gets thicker same time as Tony has lots of spare time in his hands. Okay. Gary Neville, a wolf in sheep's clothing, says Zoe. Big up to Senor Nest Lopez. He says, I think Mr. B's son is right. AI, the whole thing, man. 28th of December 2017 to the 25th of January 1968. Ajax and AZ 67 played a match without offside. In addition, the throw-in had been replaced by indirect free kicks. Okay, just a stat there. I didn't know about that. Ref also based a lot of decisions on reputations, as you guys said there. And finally, Big T saying Spurs are down and losing as expected. All right, yeah. Poll results.
So, in terms of VAR and whether it needs a massive strategic review, 77% of United Agenda viewers said it needs to go back to the drawing board.
There we go.
Yep.
Well, look, guys, are we wrapping up or do we have anything else that we need to talk about?
Yeah, I want to touch on the two players, Anthony and Maguire, for two different reasons. Had a comment in the comment section earlier talking about Maguire. He's playing magnificent at the moment. And I think people have to start putting respect to the name. I think we can all agree that with all the other players out at the moment, he's holding his own and representing. And you have to give the guy credit. Not because I support him, not trying to say I told you so or anything like that. But I told you so. And anyway, going to Anthony. Anthony, I don't like to disrespect players. Anyone who plays for Man United, I like to back them and everything else. But with the game against Fulham the other day, it made me realise that I was thinking, come on, bruv. You're not doing anything against that fullback. You get the ball, you get pinched, or you try a little something. There was a little short that came up on YouTube today about he tried to take the player on, quick feet, ended up kicking the ball off the pitch, and then moaning at the linesman saying it came off the defender when it clearly didn't. And it's like, come on, man. to get a yard sometimes it should be easy. You know, you see these players with left foots, you know, coming out and you know, Saka, for example, gets the ball, gets a yard, drops his shoulder, and it does it every time and gets a yard to be able to pass it or deliver a pass or do whatever. You don't need to take players on. These tricks, I've never seen, very rarely I see Anthony getting the ball, doing a trick and beating a man when he's left him on his backside. Like,
doesn't
you know,
happen.
I've rarely see it. And I rarely see that with any professional player. You might be able to do it in Dutch football, but you're not doing it in the Premiership where these are athletes and they're what do you call them? Racehorses, thoroughbreds.
Thoroughbreds, yeah.
Yeah, all the players in the Premier League are thoroughbreds. You can't do that in this league, you know? So change your game up, bro. Otherwise, I'm going to give up on you. And that's when you know things are bad. Big T saying, don't pass out, but Maguire's man of the match for me. Just your thoughts on that, guys. Those two players. Not to say we disrespect them or give them too much praise, but
my opinion on Maguire is not going to change on Monday. He's playing well now, but I truly believe that if the other players were fit, he wouldn't be getting any game time. So I'm not going to be hypocritical and say he should be staying. I still think he probably will go. I still don't think Ten Hag rates him, but Maguire's shown a lot of mental strength in regards to the fact that he's blotted it out. And he's played well. He's either been man of the match or second. Can you have second man of the match? Not sure if that's even second, but he's played well the last 3 or 4 games. Now look, long may it continue. We've got Copenhagen on Wednesday. which is a must-win game. Now, if he plays of like the Maguire that has been playing now, great. But if he goes back to making a mistake, all of his good work's gone out the window.
No pressure,
you know. And yeah, what that's you have to live by the pressure. That's what you do. You play for Manchester United. So let's get through the Copenhagen game and get through the Luton game, and then we'll start talking about.
Again.
yeah. Then ask me again. As for Anthony, I'm of the opinion now that he needs to be replaced by Pellistri. I think Pellistri's come on. I think he's bide his time. Anthony may well come good as a sub or further down the line. But right now, if you want to keep your team happy, they're looking and they're seeing him playing like that every week. And Pellistri coming on and being involved in the goal. Yes, it bounced off his back and that. But if he wasn't there chasing the ball down on Monday, we wouldn't have got that goal. You know, we were saying, you know, Bruno, great finish. But if it wasn't for him doing the dirty side of the game, we wouldn't have got the goal. So Anthony, I think Anthony probably does need to be dropped now. Just cool. Earn your money on the bench for a little while. And Diley hair blonde. I don't like him with his black hair. He was no good with his silver hair, with his blonde hair either. But him with black hair, he just looks like he's just a goth.
I have to agree that we need to kind of look at this kind of pragmatically. If you get an opportunity to come into starting 11, you need to take it. Whether it's by virtue of injury or whether it's by virtue of you being the 70, 80 million pound superstar that was signed to be the signature piece of the manager's attack. As long as you have an opportunity, it's up to you then to keep said jersey on your back, because they should be hungry wolves sitting on that bench waiting to oust you. And Anthony's definitely facing that at the moment. He's facing a hungry Pellistri that's eager to prove. Amad Diallo is not too far away from coming back into the squad either. I saw a video of him today looking rather ready to go. So those players will need to constantly prove that they, as do all players, that they should be in that starting 11. And I do want to make a final point to send people home thinking. A former loanee of ours, Mr. Sabitzer, who's plying his trade with Borussia Dortmund at the moment, said that Manchester United are missing leaders on the pitch. So ponder that and let us know your thoughts in the comments after the show.
Yeah.
Monday.
Can I just read out one comment here? It's from Senya Ness. Said, "Hey man, like Mr. B, correct again. If everyone was fit, Martinez, Shaw, Malacia, Harry Maguire would not get a game at all. There you go.
Money in the bank. But look, we'll see what happens. Guys, I'm glad I'm back, man. I needed to be talking Man United. We will be back tomorrow. We got the preview for the Copenhagen game on Wednesday.
Massive game.
Monday, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, if I'm gonna ask you a question, and there's a few of you in the chat still left. If we don't qualify in second for the Champions League, do you want no European football or Europa League football?
I'll take Europa League and get Liverpool
Would you?
to the final. Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah. Why not? Look, we need.
I'd rather we weren't in it. I'd rather we're out.
Why?
I'd rather we. Do you know what? I just look at one game a week. I look at one game a week, being able to train, for 4 days to a game, to a system, to a game plan. Players hungry, knowing that they've only got the one game for the, what I mean. That's more where I'm thinking about it, because we're not going to win. Our best chance of winning that trophy was last year. You want us to get Liverpool in a final of a tournament. I'm not saying that we won't get our players back and we won't improve, but right now I would rather take no football.
Now, can I just say selfishly, because the final's in Dublin, I would love to see Manchester United in the final. But from a pragmatic point of view, looking at the problems that we have with injuries, the game a week, should we fail to get out of our group in Champions League, is probably the better path to ensuring that we attack that top 4. Actually, it could be even top 5 this year, given the new rules of Champions League.
It is top 5. It's 100% top 5.
Okay, can I just say on that point, the Champions League is not the champions of each league playing. It's the top 4 or top 3 or top 2 in some leagues. So we qualified not as champions. We're not champions of anything, So we've been relegated to Europa League. It doesn't matter to me. We're still in a European competition, and I think it gives you opportunity for young players to get valuable experience. And I think you should be playing.
He doesn't play the young players on Monday.
Yeah, but if someone gets injured, then they can come in. You should be playing week in, week out, 2 games a week. These players have been up to it, and I think they deserve to do it. And it's good for football. It's good for the brand. It's good for the Man United agenda.
Okay. We will beg to differ, I suppose. I'm taking.
Let's have a poll on it.
We'll do that for the next one.
3-man poll. Yeah.
Guys, look. We will be back tomorrow with a preview. We will be back Wednesday with a watchalong. We will be back Thursday with probably a big reaction to the game before, and then Friday, Saturday, we will be back again. So it's me, Mr. B. I'm saying goodbye. It's Rebel. It's good to have you back, and always on Monday, Tuesday in the house, guys.
Monday. Welcome back, Rebel. Big up, Mr. B. And everyone's asking where bath time is. He's off for a couple of days. We'll be back on Wednesday.
Guys, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.